It's half a century, and it's the halfway point in one's life. And it's time to take stock and account for what you've done with the time God has given you. And I think these are things that Muhoozi is going through. So I thought a good starting point is to recount what happened on the 24th of April, 1974. And for that, I know you don't have a lot of attention because now you spend so much time on TikTok, you don't read books. So I brought 3 books that I'm going to read for you. I hope you have time. The book I'm going to read is called My Life's Journey by Mama. And she tells us the story of what happened the day Muhoozi was born. The time is 4 a.m. in Dar es Salaam, and Mama has been rushed to hospital. So she writes on page 87 of her book, "My husband somehow managed to extricate himself from being present in the delivery room. In those days, doctors did not encourage fathers to witness the birth of the babies, and my husband was not eager to watch the whole process. He left saying that he would be back shortly and only returned in the morning after the baby had been born. And don't ask why. Because when we're in primary school, when you'd ask the teacher a hard question, he would tell you that just take it as it is if you want to pass. So just take it as it is." So it says Muhoozi was born at 6 o'clock in the morning at the crack of dawn. So you can see he was an organized soldier. A beautiful brown baby with thick mass of hair on his head. He had dark marks that looked like sideburns on his cheeks. So you can see he's a tough general. He was born with beards. A trait that my husband used to call the Museveni mark because all our children were born with it. Okay, I didn't heard. I think I had to train this properly. Michara, we need to have a small talk about this. So she writes on, "Yori would say that he would recognize our children by this mark, that they all bore on their cheeks. When my husband walked into the room that morning and found our son lying peacefully in his cot, his face could not contain the smile that spread across his face. He was overjoyed, hugging me to congratulate me, and then calling all our friends with the good news that we had a baby boy. We named our son Muhoozi, which means avenger. Among the Wanyankore, when a man has a son, he feels that he now has someone to avenge him. Yoweri had lost his close friend Mwesiga tragically in Mbale when Amin soldiers captured and killed him. I believe that Yoweri named our son Muhoozi, meaning that God had given him somebody that would avenge his death and those of his colleagues if they all died in the struggle. The birth of our firstborn was an emotional experience for me. For the first time, I felt I had a human being that belonged to me. Muhoozi was mine, my son. He had come forth from me, and he'd always be mine. It was wonderful to have this little person so helpless and dependent on me for everything. I knew then that I would do everything in my power to give my son the best that I could in life. That I would protect him with all that I was. Yoweri and I were overjoyed to take our son home to our little apartment in Kurasini. So here ends the first reading. There are more to come, don't clap yet. So, one of Muhoozi's achievements of significance over the 50 years that he's been here is serving as an inspiration to his peers and to those who are younger than him. And This is mainly because he's lived a life of purpose, a life of purpose, life of service before self. And even when he's had an opportunity to indulge in a life which has no purpose, he's chosen the military, and he's been there for over 2 decades, and we celebrate him for that today.